All right, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of Bears Film Room. My name is Dave, cover the Bears for SportsMockery.com. Of course, joined by a good friend, co-host, Chicago Bears writer for Sports Mockery as well, Ficky. And we have a late night show, I guess you could say 7:30 Central Time. We kind of just want to talk about CJ Gardner-Johnson. Also, we have a Q&A, really just a special midweek show that's been requested for a while, and we're kind of going to probably maybe start doing these at least periodically, if not every single week. So we'll still have our Saturday morning pods that everyone's kind of really enjoyed, including us. But we want to kind of do this mailbag episode, talk about the Bears signing a pretty well-known player, CJ Gardner-Johnson. And in that, adding some depth, also I think some playmaking ability. But before we hop into that signing and the mailbag, Fick, how you doing, man, on this Wednesday?
Almost Halloween. Doing good. Almost Halloween. I'm ready already to get to the weekend. It's good to do a midweek one, even though technically we were on a podcast yesterday. So really, we've been on a podcast Saturday, Sunday, no Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday. So we're definitely getting our mics worth here. But it's been good. I feel good. I like that we're starting to see some buzz in the NFL. You know what I mean? We saw a trade today with like Michael Carter and the Jets. We saw, I think, another trade as well earlier in the day. Aiden Hutchinson got a big deal, $180 million today. I mean, like, you're starting to see some news that always makes the season a little bit better. And then obviously the big news that we talked about, actually probably the news that broke the morning, not that it was the biggest news, but the Bears bringing in CJ Gardner-Johnson and then signing on to the practice squad, I believe, or the active roster right away. But yeah, we talked about it yesterday, Dave, but we were for our listeners, Dave and I were on Cheeseheads in the Bear podcast, which you guys should check out. We tweeted about it on our socials, but on there we were talking about should they make a trade, and Dave and I were like, yeah, well, if you're going to make a trade, it's got to be for some corner, right? Or we focused on the injuries of this team has been the depleted secondary, so I'm not surprised they made a move like that. Obviously, we'll dig deeper into it, but I know I kind of went all over the place there, but I'm just kind of excited that they actually brought in some bodies because this team has been bad with the injuries.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that we talked about it on the Cheeseheads in the Bear podcast. Check it out again. We kind of retweeted everything on our socials. You can follow Fick at It's Ficky Baby on all socials, and then Dave _BFR as well. But like I said, Tyree Stevenson, which I guess we could address the injury report. It's Wednesday. It's kind of, I don't like to do it. We got to wait and see.
Too early.
But of course, Jalen Johnson, Terrell Smith, both on IR. Kyler Gordon is now on IR. This made a lot of sense. There's a little bit of history too between Ben Johnson and Gardner-Johnson, and then of course DC Dennis Allen. He was in New Orleans when the Saints drafted him in the 4th round. So a very, very interesting player. I want to kind of just go over his background real quick.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
So for CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's drafted in 2019, 4th round pick out of Florida. Multiple teams now. So he started with the Saints. I think most notably, he was with Philly, and I think that was
his
Super
big
Bowl.
Year.
Yep. He had a brief stint with the Ravens practice squad. So he's kind of been everywhere. So he went to Detroit, Eagles, Houston Texans, and then, of course, the Baltimore Ravens on the practice squad. His last full season was 2024 with the Eagles, and it was strong. He started, delivered solid numbers. But there are some, I guess, risks. So, first of all, I want to go with some of the upsides, I guess. So, veteran experience, we love that. We kind of talked about how when it came to adding another player, we didn't think maybe they would go edge, right? Because of the need at corner right now. And Ben Johnson during his presser today, he kind of alluded to it. Yeah, right now this is we needed it with some of these injuries recently. We needed to kind of add another body, and this is a very high upside signing in my opinion. He's versatile too, so I think they talked about him being playing the nickel, kind of in the dime package in the slot, which obviously, given the Bears' injured roster with Gordon, of course, it is important. Familiarity with Dennis Allen. And then he has 18 career interceptions, which
decent
is a lot, man. He's a ball hawk. That's where I'm like that upside there where the Bears are already kind of creating turnovers. It could be very, very interesting in regards to how kind of what he what he might be able to bring. It's kind of a wild card, like we talked about with Austin Booker. Now, I want to stay there before we get to not the downside. What's the word? Some risk, I guess, with this type of player. We'll get to that later. I don't want to focus on it too much because I think players grow. They're human beings too. And I think it's funny. Javon Wims comes to mind. And I think that playoff game.
The slap.
Yeah, punches the helmet, slaps the helmet. That's one of the funniest ones to me when it comes to this signing.
What a circle moment, you know?
Exactly. I was not a fan of CJ at that time. But what are your thoughts initially when you saw this notification from Adam Schefter? Give me your thoughts, instant reaction. And then how do you feel about it now? If that's changed, in about 8 hours, 10 hours?
Yeah. So when I first saw the news, I was like, okay, that's like, I know he hasn't been great of recent. So I was like, okay, we need bodies. We'll see how that goes. But then when I was doing more of like my research, because I wanted to write an article on him, like the versatility, and you talked about it, is huge. So in 2024, when he was on the Eagles defense, his snap distribution was 55% at free safety, 23% at strong safety, and then the rest was split. So that's about 20% at slot corner are being like in that box type of role. You know what I mean? Like a nickel over G or something like that third type of safety. And as we talked about with Dennis Allen, right? Or at least when we were talking about who Dennis Allen is when we were, when he signed or became the defensive coordinator, we talked about how a lot of his schematics are, he loves that third type of safety. He loves those nickel and dime exotic looks, right? You saw what he did when Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gorman was there, how he brings up to the line, showing that double mug, single mug type stuff and doing exotic blitzes. And so I think this is a perfect person for that type of scheme. First off, he knows him, right? Or at least he's worked with him before. So like picking up the scheme won't take as long. The learning curve should be shorter. And then the versatility of where you can use them. So I was really excited about that. Now, do I think we're going to get like his breakout season, which he had in 2024 with the Eagles, won the Super Bowl, 6 interceptions that year, or the season he had, I think, was that the Saints where he also had 6 interceptions? Or I'm trying to think.
I can look it up for you.
No, actually, it was both Eagles. So his first stint with Philly in 2022, he also had 6 interceptions. Then he went to Detroit. Then he went to Philly again, got 6 interceptions, and then obviously Houston in the practice squad this year. So he's 27. So like it's not like the gas is out of the tank. That season still could happen. I'm not expecting that it will, but I'm saying if we can get somewhat of like what his career has been, which is an average corner, right? Or average coverage safety or corner wherever he's playing, and then a pretty good blitzer, I will take that, especially for just a guy you're picking up mid-season with these injuries. So either way, though, it's going to be having CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be better than having Nick McLeod at your slot corner, right? Or having Jalen, if he plays corner solely, having Jalen Jones as your cornerback too. So no matter what, this move was an upgrade. So I'll never be mad about the team bringing someone on that's going to help elevate the team. And that's what they're going to do here. Even if you get CJ's worse, more than likely, if you were to roll the dice, that it's going to help make this defense better. So I think it was a great signing. Obviously, we don't know the numbers and things like that. Bears have about $7 million in cap left, so they're in the bottom 10 of cap flexibility for at least this season. So I'm assuming the deal won't be too much, but just something you also have to keep an eye on for. But what about you? How'd you feel?
Yeah, instantly, I thought it was a nice addition. They needed bodies, yes, but they could have also went another direction, a more safe route. Like I said, we talk about his personality. He's had some issues, and the Bears currently have issues with discipline. And I wouldn't say unsportsmanlike penalties, more so like false starts, DPIs, even if they're bad calls, but that type of discipline. I would say they haven't really been called for any of those unsportsmanlike, outside maybe the helmet quarterback or something like that. But with Johnson, he could bring that. It's similar to like Tyreek, but I truly believe he's 27 years old now, which isn't old for a DB. He's aggressive. So I don't think there's a lot of wear and tear, but the locker room, the instability in regards to
mental head case is what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, look,
I don't. Yeah, but I kind of like that too. One thing that I loved about him today when he spoke to the media, he was asked about, how quickly could he adapt to Dennis Allen's scheme or defense, and he goes, "I'll be ready. See you Sunday."
Yeah, you kind of like the
that moxie is something I really, really like, and I think the Bears could use more of it, unfortunately. And yeah, he's a playmaker, and I think the fit's going to be there. We'll just see. And at the end of the day, like I said, they could have went and got somebody that we didn't even really know, right? But this is a big-time name, albeit for maybe different reasons. But he's shown that he can play at a really high level, if not elite level, in this league. And he's done it just last year. 2024 was last year, man. And he was part of a Super Bowl winning team. So I don't care what you say about him, how you feel. I think this is a really great pickup. But I want to say this. When it comes to this addition, the signing, I don't think it typically happens if Ben Johnson's not here. And because Ryan Poles does not make a move like this ever. He stays away from guys that have these type of behavioral issues, character concerns, however it might be. And we've seen it time and time again through the draft and through free agency. So this one right here, I immediately thought, okay, I think we're going to start to see who really is maybe not in charge, but I think the sway that Ben Johnson has, and maybe even Dennis Allen, but I truly believe Ben Johnson has a lot of say when it comes to personnel, as he should. And Ryan Poles, I mean, hats off to him. I think he's also maybe more open to different voices in Hallis. And that's important, and he needs that. Obviously, he was extended to kind of match Ben Johnson in that timeline as far as their contracts. But I think this was a very unique signing that we have not seen in the last few years, especially since Ryan Poles was got here. So I kind of want your take on that side of it.
Look, I think it's fair in the same way we view players every year, right? They have a chance, or every game, week to week. You're like, hey, this player can get better, right? Obviously, it's not a linear progression, but you can say, hey, we'll give this person time. We think they can get better. I think that's also fair to say about coaches. I'm sure Ben Johnson next year will be a better head coach for the Chicago Bears than what he is currently right now, right? And I'm sure Ben Johnson got better year over year as an offensive coordinator. Same with Dennis Allen. So, Poles hasn't been perfect, but maybe this is one of the new learnings for him is the amount of input he's taking in and to be swayed towards different things, right? Obviously, we won't ever find out who is doing what behind the scenes or how much influence is coming in, but we can look at what the output is. And I think you made a great point. This is something that we typically haven't seen. We'll have to see how it plays out, but you like that the action was different than what we previously had seen because the previous actions haven't necessarily haven't given us the results of what we want to see on the football field on Sundays. So I like that. Now, I don't want you to go out here if someone's got certain, charges that really are a big red flag that you just automatically go, yeah, let's sign them, right? Or if they're actually in real legal issues. I'm not saying that, but from like a character standpoint, like, oh, he might be a little hot-headed, like CJ Gardner-Johnson, right? Maybe it is worth the risk if you truly believe in the head coach and the coaches you have. And maybe that's actually it, Dave. Maybe Ryan Poles actually has confidence in what, is building here. He's looking at Ben Johnson and saying, oh, no, he will not let that, like he'll let CJ, carry that energy on the field, but he's not going to let him cost his team, or at least he's going to ream his ass. You know what I mean? And get on him. Like that's not acceptable here. We saw Ben Johnson call out. I think you tweeted about it, how he called out for accountability. Like, I wish the guys would step up so it doesn't have to come to coaching. So you can already, and all the other information we have from Ben Johnson, we kind of know he's a little psycho in the head, and that's what we love. So maybe it's like a mix of that too, like growing for Poles and then also being like, I truly have trust in what the culture we're building here, thanks to that guy at the top, which is Ben Johnson. But how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think everything you said is 100% correct. I think when it comes to this type of deal, I think it's a short-term fix, right? And I think it's a smart short-term fix where it's like you get a really good body, a player that could play at an elite level, doesn't cost you a lot. If he starts to cause issues, I think it's a lot easier to cut ties, right? You're not committed to him long term, but I think the upside there, and I'm rooting for him. Obviously, he's going to be in a Bears uniform. I think he's a very, very fun player. Kind of reminds me of like Tyreek Stevenson a little bit in regards to, I mean, look how he's played. Before he got injured, he was playing very, very high, at a high level in Dennis Allen's defense, and so we'll see what he can do. And
very hot and cold for both of them. Like when they're hot, you get like really elite play, like 6 interceptions. That's probably leading the NFL during that time, right? You get the best of the best. But I think this is just an assumption, no doctor or anything like that. But I think they probably are easier to get in like mental slumps. And so that's why when they're feeling good and feeling confident, tough, it is because it's 1v1, right?
I think there's a huge confidence thing too.
Oh, for sure.
You're going against the best athletes on the field typically.
And that's why they kind of talk the most shit, because you got to have to like mentally be delusional.
You're typically on the island. If you're playing man, of course, it's a different breed. It's a different breed. And I like. You got to like your corners where they have that type of confidence, that swagger. We'll see.
I think it's good.
I know I see some comments about him potentially being a locker room cancer. I really am going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think you touched on it, Fick. This locker room, and I think Ben Johnson said it, I was watching the presser and he goes, at the end of the day, like we needed a corner, right? The injuries, but I trust the locker room. We have a lot of veteran guys. And essentially said, not verbatim, but paraphrasing, that the locker room's fine. It's in a really, really good spot. They can handle this. And if something comes up, like I said,
really well.
There's a really nice. It's not like you're hitting the ejection button. It's just more of like kind of cutting the string, right? Just all right.
Yeah,
it's done.
You also have Kevin. You have Kevin Byard. He's not gonna let that slide. You have some like older people that Joe Tooney. This team isn't in a position where it was like the Texans where they lost 4 in a row, right? This team just came off 4 straight wins. I know this week's loss sucks, but the team is probably in a good mental headspace. So if you're going to take on someone that might be more of a risk from that, or like a locker room cancer, this team's in a better position now to take it on than it would have been last year at this time, where they're probably on their 2-game losing streak at this moment. So it's just a little different scenario.
Yeah. And I'll say this. I think we're not going to touch too much on last week's loss. I feel a little bit better. Fick, you were really cool, level-headed, coming, after that loss. And it's kind of funny. You win 4 straight. You think you'd be like, all right, I can take one loss. No, that one was tough. I couldn't really take it that well. I'll admit it.
All right. It's all right.
After watching the tape and everything, I do feel a little bit better. But I will say this. They need to win next week. They just need to win it. We've looked at the NFC North. We've looked at the NFC wildcard chase. We are in the hunt right now. I saw the first graphic that we were there. And so me, to get to 5-3, you feel a lot better. And I really do hope we see CJ Gardner-Johnson contribute this year. I'm not saying he's going to be a long-term fit. But just to be able to come in here, and he's going to be playing for another contract. He's trying to get maybe a long-term, a little bit more stability, maybe 2-3 year deal. And if he performs well over these next 9 games or so, I think it's 9, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, 9 more games.
Yeah, we played 7.
So
we played
7
more. So 10 more. Crap. Yeah. NFL keeps adding one on.
Yeah. So we'll see how he produces. I'm rooting for him. We all should be. I see this one about Browning. We have our pregame show on Saturday. We're going to really get to that, but I will say this. Yes, if we lose to Jake Browning, if he starts,
it's over. Season's over. Back to back, losing to backup quarterback, and then backup quarterback. It's over.
Bless me. And honestly, you could say we lost to the backup in Baltimore.
True, yeah, because Cooper Rush was technically the backup.
Practice squad.
Not great.
Anyways, Tyrone Snoop Huntley, I think, is a lot better than
in that type of offense for sure. Like
what's his name?
Then Cooper
Browning.
Oh, then Browning. I agree.
But Joe Flacco scares me. Anyways, that's enough of the preview for next week.
No, but I think it's actually fair though on the comment that you were saying about playoffs implications, because some data guy out there, I can't remember his name. I think it was like C Scrape or something like that. It's on my Twitter. I make sure to give him credit, but he was basically showing what a win and loss for every team in week 9 does to your probability of making the playoffs. And for the Bears, if they are to win, it jumps all the way up to 41%. That's pretty good, right? That's about a coin flip that you can make the playoffs halfway through the season. I'd take that any day of the year. You know what I mean? Especially for this team. You lose, it drops to 18%. That is a much harder climb, right? That's a delta of basically 23% there. So you basically double your odds to make the playoffs just by winning this game. So I agree with you, Dave. Like, this is a must win, not in the fact of just like we always say that for a lot of these games because every game matters, but like literally your playoff odds can be, you're setting yourself up for future success by this game alone. And obviously every game matters, but particularly this game in itself has a lot of big implications, especially after we lost this week. And a lot of our people in the hunt or people in our own division, right? They won. Both the Packers, Lions were on bye. So it kind of put another separation between us.
Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, Fick. I want to take a look at the NFC North if you don't. Before we get to our mailbag episode in our first break, let me go ahead and share this because I do want to take a look at the landscape. I think it's fun to do.
Okay.
Let me pull it up here. Okay. Can we see this?
Yeah, make it a little bigger. There you go. Yep.
There we go. So right now, NFC North, or I'm sorry, the NFL. Oh my gosh, I can't talk right now. National Football Conference, NFC. Here's what we're looking at. So top 10 teams. So 7 teams make the playoffs, as we know. The Green Bay Packers, they look really, really good. 5-1.
Fortunately,
they're atop the NFC. Philadelphia Eagles at 6-2. Tampa Bay at 6-2. The Seattle Seahawks are 5-2. Detroit Lions are 5-2. The Los Angeles Rams are 5-2. And then you have the 49ers at 5-3. Chicago at 4-3. So Chicago's the 8th spot. So we're technically a game out from that final wild card spot, correct? Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah.
Here?
Seven make it.
Then you got Carolina, surprisingly 4-4. Shout out to them, I guess. Bryce, I think, is coming back. And then Dallas Cowboys, who I think are red hot, are 3-4. So Chicago, this is why I think losing last week was tough. And I understand, I think we maybe didn't give the Baltimore Ravens defense and really just the coaching overall as much credit as they probably deserved. Well-coached team. Obviously, they win a lot of games, and they played really well at home. But now you're 4-3. That's why you talked about this is a pivotal matchup where the Bears, if they win, they kind of keep pace, right? Some teams have not had a bye yet. So San Francisco, they're 5-3. So Chicago can realistically tie them. And then I think the 49ers, I don't think they're on a bye. So they could be, if they lose this week, I'm not sure who they're playing. They can go to 5-4. And then all of a sudden the Bears they leapfrog San Francisco, and they're in that 7th and final wild card spot through 8 games. So it's a big one. You're right.
So I'm actually looking at the matchups to see if there was any. No. So it's not going to be a good week for us. So we definitely have to win because I think everybody in front of us, of course, it's any given Sunday. Any team can win.
Giants,
it's probably going to win. So 49ers going against the Giants. That seems like a win for 49ers. And then you have LA versus New Orleans, who just benched Spencer Rattler and put in Tyler Shuck. So yeah, those would be upsets to say the least, that for us to jump them, one of those teams would have to lose. So we definitely, to stay in that hunt, knowing that those other 2 teams are probably going to win, we're going to have to do the same. And then Green Bay's playing Carolina. I don't think they'll lose. And then Detroit's playing Minnesota. You can never really know with, a division game, but that's the number. I mean, that's a top 2 team in the NFL going against a bottom 5 team. So,
yeah. Do you see the strength of schedule? Look at Chicago.
Yeah, you know why? You know why those? Because you have the Saints, who are 1-6.
Yeah.
You have the
Raiders,
who are 1 and whatever.
Oh yeah,
you have the Raiders. Yeah, the Ravens are bringing it down because in the beginning you wouldn't have thought that it would be that low, but But that's the NFL, though. You never know, right? There's going to be some of these teams we think are good that we're about to play later, and they may not be as good as what we think. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, right now it's definitely the easiest part of the schedule, but we knew that. We knew that you want to get hot because you got the Lions one more time, the Vikings one more time, the Packers twice, and a top 5 defense in Cleveland. Your last, 5 games? 6 games? So yeah.
Anyways, I just think it's fun to kind of take a look at that at the playoff picture. Bears are right in it, man. They if they can win these next 2 and get to 6-3, you're gonna feel really good going into the tougher part of the schedule. So, with that being said,
probably next 3. No, I'm saying it's probably next 3. Isn't there another game that's pretty? So winnable? We have.
Minnesota is winnable, in my opinion. So here's the thing: the Chicago has Cincinnati, New York Giants, Minnesota Steelers. Vikings, and then the Steelers. So these 4 right here,
you can go 3-1 in there somehow.
You need to go 3-1. I think that's a minimum. And then if you can get to 4-0, oh my gosh! That's the thing. They lost the Ravens, sure, but give me another 4-game win streak here, and then you're sitting at 8-3.
Yeah. Even 7-4, I'm like, okay.
I'm not asking for a lot here.
Yeah, you go 3. You go 3. Yeah, you go 3-1. Very plausible. I think the lowest I think we do in this situation is 2-2. I think the highest we probably do is 3-1. But anything can happen. So I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they can do that. Give me at least 2 to 3 wins, and that will keep you in contention for the playoffs for that back half stretch. And again. Winnable. What is this? What's the phrase they say? Winnable games are only winnable when you win them. So, you know what I mean? So they still have to show up, and the other team has to show up.
Game is not played on paper.
Exactly. That's a better one. So we'll have to wait and see. But it does look like it does look more plausible, this portion of the schedule compared to the back half. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take our first break here, and then we're going to go and move forward with our mailbag episode.
First off, thank you for watching the BFR Podcast, the #1 show for the fans by the fans. If this is your first time here, please like and subscribe, as it just helps our show grow and helps the algorithm get this show out to other awesome, amazing Bear fans like y'all as we're trying to grow this community. If this is your first time, also leave a hashtag #NewFaceGang in the chat. That's hashtag #NewFaceGang in the chat, and we'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if this is not your first time, this is your second time, you've watched over 100 episodes or anything in between, then you are a true OG, and we want to show you some love as well. So please leave a hashtag OG in the chat, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. Thank y'all for all the support for the #1 show for the fans by the fans, the BFR Podcast. Now let's get back to the show. Bet.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Wait, Dave, there's a good question here. I just want to get it because it's back to what we were just talking about. But Eduardo Garcia on YouTube said, if the Bears lose to Browning, are we getting Dark Dave back?
Never know, man. I was pretty negative. I might be more negative than dark as far as like doom and gloom over these next, because I think there's expectations now. I'm not saying win the Super Bowl, but wild card is my expectation. As far as hoping this team can crack that and get to the playoffs. Because, man, can you imagine waking up on a crisp Sunday morning and the Bears are in a playoff game? I don't care if it's away, but that would be electric.
Yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. And then one more here from Isaac as well, because what do y'all think is Niners easiest to overtake? So when looking at who's left, problem about the Niners, which scares me, is they're 3-0 in their own division games. Those are normally the hardest ones to play. I know the division isn't great, but they beat Seattle, they beat in Arizona, and they beat in who's the other NFC West team? Rams.
Yeah, they're pretty good, dude. They're pretty good. We'll see. We're 0-2 in our division right now. We have to really start taking care of business. We gotta win.
Bless you.
Sorry, I had to cough.
No, you're good. You're good.
We gotta win a couple of these coming up, especially the Minnesota one. We shouldn't have lost, to open the season against JJ McCarthy. We did. So now you're kind of stuck where you got to get 1-1 with them. And then of course Green Bay and Detroit, both of those games are going to be they're going to be difficult. So we'll see.
Yep. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, let's move forward. Vic, do we want to go ahead and get to we requested you guys to send in some questions. I think we got quite a bit. Is that right, Vic?
Yeah, we got about 10 or so. Yeah,
okay. And if you have any right now, if you're watching live on YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are, wherever you might be listening live or watching live, go ahead and throw a question in the chat if you have one. We'll go ahead and get it started, and then we'll throw it on at the back end. Of course, we'll go through these mailbag questions first.
All right, let's start it off with the Twitter mailbag. First one here is from Sports Mockery. Oh, I've heard of them. Said, can Ficky or Dave play cornerback? Maybe like 10 years ago. My body is.
I don't know if this is
old. I'm an old man.
Yeah.
Probably Dave. Maybe I feel like you probably got a little more nimble than you. I was more of a defensive linebacker. I'm not. My body's not built for cornerback. So.
I don't know. I don't think so. I would be really bad at tackling. I might be able. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not gonna try and reason this. There's no way.
There
next
we go.
Question.
Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I'd get killed out there. But appreciate the question. Check out our articles on Sports Mockery.
I'm not guarding anybody. Like, there ain't no receiver. There's no receiver tight end that I'll be able to stop.
Maybe like a Darnell Wright on a trick play. That might be the only wide receiver I'm locking down. So, all right, let's
get gets the ball. I'm letting him go.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. From Mikey on Twitter at Michael Valcartier says, "Is CJ always can't say this? Is CGJ actually a good pickup, or are we overhyping the same way we always do?" I think that's a fair question. We get excited when a new toy comes in, you know what I mean? But I think he's shown, like Dave, you made a great point. Last year alone, he went off. Different circumstances, right? I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. That was a much better team overall, but he really played well there. So this isn't like just some trash, like you said, no-name guy. This is a guy who's been in the league consistently, at least been average at his play, and has had a couple of seasons, one or two, or maybe two or three, where he's played above average or really, really good. So I don't think we're overhyping it, because we're not saying this dude's going to be like a Pro Bowler, but he's going to help this team out just due to the decimated secondary.
Yeah. Thoughts, Dave? I mean, in 2024, he had 6 interceptions. And then in 2022, he had 6 interceptions. I mean, the guy, he's a ball hog, and it's kind of crazy that he started this year in Houston, played 3 games. So we'll just see. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping for the best.
And I think they let go of him because of disciplinary issues. So, I mean, I don't think it was necessarily per his play, but
I'm excited to see what he can do, what he can maybe bring to a very depleted Bears defense. And I think the energy we're seeing just from his presser alone, it feels like a different. I know we talked about how we hype up every signing. This one's different than like signing Mercedes Lewis, which we saw him get signed today. Like it's a different type of risk, but high reward, where I think we could be looking back, what a signing, what a steal, even if it is just a stint in Chicago, for the remainder of the year. I think he can provide some necessary depth, and then the playmaking ability that he possesses. So we'll see.
Be real. If this team was fully healthy, he wouldn't be a starter on this team. So it's like
I would like him as a depth piece too, though.
Oh, 100%. But a starter, no, for sure not. But
I don't think so.
I mean, he could start on other teams. I'm not saying he's not a starter, but fully healthy. That's why he's
when the
in
Bears are fully healthy. Yeah,
it's because they haven't been fully healthy. So great question there. Let's get to the next one here from JAV, which is at only one J Money on Twitter. Said, how do y'all feel about the offensive schemes this season? All right, before we close out the show, I got wrong one. My bad. Wrong button. Offensive schemes so far. I mean, I feel like it's still kind of a learning process with them. I don't think there's been enough of a trend that we've noticed. The only trend is like they've definitely focused more on outside running in the past 3 games, and that seemed to work. I don't know. I feel like it's hard for me to answer that. That might be the question better to answer. There's things I want them to do more of, right? I would love you to feed your tight ends more. right? And there may be a reason behind that. I would love to see more Luther Burden, more touches for him, more for Colston Loveland as well. I think they can definitely be used. So, but I don't know if I technically have like a major gripe where it's like, oh, why are they not doing this? Now, week 1 through week 2, it was definitely the run game. I'm like, quit running the ball up the middle because it is not working. But I don't know. What's your thoughts? Is there like a major schematic thing? You're like, oh, they got to quit doing this.
I'll say this. I think what we're seeing out of Ben Johnson is good. Very, very good. The explosive plays, Ficky, you tweet about it every week. They are there. And that's a Ben Johnson stat. That's what he does best. And that's what he's brought from Detroit, is the ability to kind of make those plays kind of the norm in Chicago, which has not been the case typically. So the one thing I think that we would be talking about this offense in a much different light. And I think there's probably even another win that we get like last week, where if you finish drives with touchdowns and not settling for field goals. So I think that red zone playbook plays have just not been great, and the execution too from the players.
So many penalties in the red zone too. It's been killing them. It's like, goodness.
But even like last week, you go to the end of the game where, the quarterback sneak, it's just like, I don't like that. Some of these things where the tight ends you think would have been highlighted more in the red zone, like a Colston Loveland, just get a jump ball one-on-one with Cole Kmet and Colston. We're just not seeing those, and those are easy plays. And right now I feel like sometimes they just kind of get in their head, and I just don't like the play calling there. And of course the stats, the red zone percentage is I think 20 something percent.
Yeah, it's low. I think we're 28th in the NFL right now.
Get that shit up and we'll be fine. We'll be a lot better offensively. The numbers would look a lot better, and Caleb would look better as well for getting those, converting those from 3 points to 7. So,
what's funny though? You're absolutely right. We've talked about red zone like the past 3 weeks, so I'm sure people aren't surprised about that. But even in last week's game, they had 9 plays against that defense that, did a pretty good job. They had 9 explosive plays. Pretty sure it was 4 rushes of 10 plus yards, and then 5 passes of 20 plus yards. So they're definitely moving the ball down the field, like you said. And that's, that still would be per game would still lead the NFL. So it's not like they even slowed down last week. The Ben Johnson effect was still, delivering heaters, but you're absolutely right. They just get to the red zone and fuck up. Like they just don't know I don't know. They mentally collapse in the red zone every single time. And I swear every time in the red zone, it's always due to, I won't say it's like always one play, but there's always like some weird handoff that doesn't work. Like, a mishandling of the snap. There's a false start. There's an illegal formation issue. There's a drop. It's like, it's always this one thing where you're like, man, if that was just a net positive play, I bet you we could have been in a better situation to convert the, first down and then keep the drive moving.
Right.
That's football, but it just seems like we get down there and it's like a whole different team. And I also think, Dave, some of the play calling in the red zone has been a little questionable. Like I still trust Ben Johnson, right? I think he's figuring things out, but definitely not. We've seen some stuff that we maybe didn't see outside the red zone, and obviously there are red zone plays, so that could be why as well. But I agree with you on that.
I think it's just simple. They just got to figure out a way to get touchdowns. It's they have too many players they have too many talented players, and the personnel that they have on offense, it just should be a little bit easier. And so again, but these are the issues that come of it that we're going to be, that were always destined to happen when it came to Ben Johnson in year 1. And I think Ben talked about it maybe a week or 2 ago about, man, I can't wait to see where we are in basically next year at this point, because we would have a full off season once this regular season's over, and maybe a playoff stint if we're lucky. But to go into the off season and go into the OTAs training camp and have the ability to look back and say, this is what worked. This is what Caleb was comfortable with. This is what he was really good at. This is what he did not play. This was not so great. We're going to throw this out. But then to build upon that, I think we've talked about it with Matt Nagy. It never worked out. He wasn't able to get to that next level with Mitch. I think no matter what, and I know I was pretty harsh on Caleb after the game, and I think that's just emotional. We do our instant reactions right after. But I think he is capable, hopefully, truly taking another step, even if it's not, like a giant leap, like a Drake May is doing right now or anything like that. I don't want to compare those guys, but I think just the ability to be able to look back on a full year of tape of stuff that's working and build upon that with Ben Johnson's offense and Caleb Williams getting a little bit more comfortable. I think that is going to be, I think that's where the team should be a lot of fun, because right now everything's on the fly. They're really just putting everything together, testing the waters. I know we're about to be game number 8, but there's a lot of patience that still needs to be had with these guys. And it's tough because we want to see this team win now, winning 4 in a row. You get that taste and you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose anymore. And it's funny to say as Bears fans, because we've lost quite a bit.
Yeah, we should be used to that though. It's crazy.
But yeah, we'll see a lot of winnable games coming up. And I'm a little bit more optimistic than I definitely was on Sunday. So good question. What do we got next? What's cooking next?
Actually, before we go to the next question, let's go ahead and hit our second ad break here, and then we'll finish up with the rest of them that we have. All right, we're going to get back to the episode real quick, but I had to take a moment to pause and tell you about something awesome that we have cooking up over here at the BFR Podcast, and that is our Patreon membership. You can join our Patreon, the BFR Den, where we have a bunch of great exclusive stuff that happens monthly, like monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, mailbag episodes, and much, much more to come. I mean, we've got tons of features in there. We've got 2 tiers. We have our top tier, which is $10 a month, our Hall of Fame tier. What comes with that, which is very exclusive, is our private Zoom calls with our members. So every month, you're going to get a private Zoom call with me, Dave, and Jack, and we just get to talk about whatever, shoot the shit, football, life. It's a wonderful time. And then if you want to go to the lower level, we have our Rookie Grizzly tier, which is $3 a month. And what that includes is like the private Discords, the monthly giveaways, the free merch, all the events we have coming up, things like that, access to exclusive merch that's only for our Patreon members, and any other cool features. You'll get that at the $3 level tier. And then with the $10 level tier, you will get the private Zoom call as well. Now, you can join for free. We do post our monthly calendars in there, so you can kind of see what we have going on each month. And we post our episodes there as well. So if you want to join that ongoing community, which we keep building up, please do so at the BFR Den on Patreon. Also, as well, we give a shout out to all of our Patreon members every single episode that we do. So if you join, we'll make sure to show you some love on every episode as well. So again, you can join the BFR Den on Patreon at the BFR Den on Patreon. And we just love the support. You guys are great. Shout out to all our Patreon members, and let's get back to the show. Absolutely. And shout out to our Patreon members. We do, just a reminder for everybody, we do have our our monthly call coming up this weekend, posted on the Discord, which is free to join as well, and posted on the Patreon as well. So excited to see a lot of y'all there, because Dave and I and Jack love those monthly calls with y'all. So appreciate it if you want to join the Patreon, the BFR Den on Patreon, and much love to all the support. And of course, you guys are gonna get your shout outs at the end. So let's keep it moving here. Let's see what we got next. We got Asta WKX on Twitter, which asked, what are some realistic defensive options to look at before the trade deadline? Well, we made one of them, but another question here. Could Austin Booker bolster the pass rush success rate because Dio is non-existent? Dave, I'll let you definitely answer that one. And then Can the Bears put the running back trade targets to sleep now that Swift has improved a bit? Or is it still Breece time? So I'm going to answer the first one. I actually want your thoughts on the back two, especially since you're a big Swift guy, and well-deserved because Swift has been playing well. But first question was
Swifty.
A Swifty, that's right. I will say for some defensive options, there's a good trade target out there. It might cost us a little bit, but you want to talk about boosting your defensive line on the market. There's been calls out for is Quincy Williams on the Jets, defensive tackle, easily a top 3, top 5 defensive tackle consistently each year. Now I know it's big money, so I don't know necessarily how the cap flexibility would work. So I'm pretty sure he needs to get paid or he got paid already last year. It may be because I think he was before Sauce, but probably an expensive trade. Probably going to have to give up at least a second for him. But if you're telling me Quincy Williams as your defensive tackle, that makes your defensive line much, much better. And as we know, that's not even an injury standpoint. That's literally you need to see an upgrade to the defensive line in general. Now, is that a move that's probably plausible? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to make a trade, Jeffrey Simmons, Quincy Williams, like those two guys, that's what I want.
Quincy he's on the final year of that 3-year deal, $8 million cap hit right now. It's probably lower, depending on where.
We would have to trade and extend because we only have $7 million in cap.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I know some people are a little harsher on Dexter, but I think he's 3.5 sacks. I think he's looked pretty good.
Oh no, but I'm saying I wouldn't necessarily bench him. I'm just saying though, imagine
Grady Jarrett too.
That's a good rotation right there. Grady,
Quincy. I would prefer edge, but that would be nasty, dude. That would be that would be a lot of fun. I think we'll see. I think the Bears have to win this week. They have to win. I think if they win at 5-3, they'd probably be a little bit more. They would be more buyers. We talked about it with the Ravens winning that game, what that would mean for the trade deadline and the aggressiveness. So, what was that? That was a lot of questions. I appreciate it.
Yeah, there was 3 there. The second one was I remember the third one, and I'll try to think of the second one. Third one is, should the trade talks about DeAndre Swift stop now, or is it still Breece Hall time?
I would stop. Yeah, absolutely. I like Swift. I think he's really good. And then there was something about Dio.
Yeah, the second one was about Booker. So Booker's coming back. How will that affect the pass rush? Because Dio has basically been non-existent.
Well, I hope it affects it. And I hope it just affects it. Though I hope it can't get worse. I really don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about this yesterday, but he's the biggest wild card is Booker because we just don't know what we're going to see out of the second-year guy. So
absolutely.
But thank you.
I appreciate those questions. Yeah. Vic, my dog is barking. Give me 1 minute. I'm just going to go.
That's fine.
Make sure a little more different part. I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, I can read this while he does that. So we got Thomas Whitty. Hey, Thomas, good friend of the show, said, are we actually a good team? And do we make the playoffs? Well, those are I would say, two different questions. Two completely different questions, because if we make the playoffs, I don't know if that means we're a good team. I guess it would. I don't know. I'm trying to think about it. So let me think. If looking at the schedule here, we would have to beat some good teams. So therefore we would then be good teams. So we have Bengals, Giants, Vikings, Steelers. So if we beat the Steelers, we beat the Packers at least once, and we beat San Francisco, then we make the playoffs. We'll probably lose to Detroit, so I'm not even going to put that out there. But if we win against 3 also playoff caliber teams, then I would say we're a good team and we make the playoffs. But that's what it's going to be. You're going to have to beat some good teams. You're going to have to beat playoff teams to be a playoff team, right? As we talked about, the schedule is definitely going to be back heavy, and you're going against some really good teams in the back end. So if you want to call yourself a good team, you're going to have to beat good teams. This isn't, there's some teams that have a softer back end schedule, and so they play well in the beginning, and then they can kind of coast, not necessarily coast, no team coast, but you know what I mean? They can, they can lose a game here or there because it's not going to really matter that much. That is not the case for us. We better be playing our best football when we get to the end of the schedule. But great question, Thomas, and I'll make sure to ask Dave once he's back. Let me go to the next one here. So this is actually from Cheeseheads in the Bear podcast. We were on this yesterday, so go give them a listen. It's actually kind of an interesting concept for the podcast. I like it. It's like 2 Packers fans. They're all friends, but it's 2 Packers fans and then 1 Bears fan. So it's kind of cool to see the different perspective. But they talk about all NFL stuff and then obviously their teams. But definitely give them a check out. We were on their last episode, which was really, really fun. But their question was, who's your favorite Bears player all time? I think if you guys have been watching Dave and I think you know that that's going to be Devin Hester. So that's got to be it for me. Besides Devin Hester, I loved Peanut Tillman, obviously. Mike Brown was awesome. I'm trying to think. A poll here would be like a Bernard Berrien. That was like one of my favorite players from the beginning. Welcome back. But that was like one of my favorite players, like way, way back when I was first getting the Bears. So, I mean, as you know, Dave and I love but these questions while you're gone. So
I was listening while I was checking on my dog.
Okay, perfect.
Everything's good. But I was listening. The favorite player absolutely nailed it, Devin Hester.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite hear because I was dealing with something. But what was that other question?
The playoff. So it was, are you actually a good team and do we make the playoffs? And my answer was, we're going to have to beat playoff teams to make the playoffs. So if we make the playoffs, we're a good team.
Yeah, bring up that question again. It says, are we actually a good team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know that yet. I don't think we know if we're actually good. These next couple of games, I think will really decide on if we're 6, 7 win, 8 win team, or pushing towards that 9, 10 win. Like I think the 9 or 10 wins get you into the playoffs. So that should answer your other question in regards to do we make the playoffs. So I think in the middle of this stretch is going to be so important as to whether we're fighting for that wild card or if we are going to be, kind of maybe just looking for some moral wins down the end of the season. So we'll see, or playing spoiler perhaps. But I think we are. I think there's a high possibility that this team could be good and really competitive at the end of this year. So
yep, definitely got to prove it. Also, drop us in the chat what your guys' favorite Bears player of all time. That'd be great. We'd love to see what people think, because I know
I know you were talking about the Cheesehead podcast too, which I enjoyed. Their concept is, I think if I would remember it correctly, I know they're two Packers fans, one Bears fan. I also believe that they all live in Wisconsin.
Yeah. So they're all Brewers fans, and then they're all Bucks fans. So they're all from Wisconsin, but the one is a Bears fan instead of Packers. So yeah, that would suck. Sorry, Brendan.
Being a Bears fan or Brewers fan is gross.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. You're just in the enemy territory all the time. I'm sure you get shot on so much. I've sent your positive thoughts out your way. All right, let's go to the next one here, though, from Lalo, which is at LA or LAL016 on Twitter, said, are you surprised with the signing of Gardner-Johnson? This is the kind of signing the Bears would never make in past years. This is actually great, because if you go back to the beginning of our show, that's literally what Dave brought up. And so it's
go back to what's that Avi on there? And I hate to do it for our podcast. Is that Khalil Mack?
Yeah, that's
Mitch
definitely
and Eddie Jackson.
Yeah, that's definitely AI, but with the Super Bowl trophy.
Oh, that's funny. Okay,
love that.
Yeah,
love that.
Oh, I'll let you. I touched on this earlier in the
I think it's right. I think it's the same, right? This is not a move, and I wasn't even thinking about it, so I'm glad you brought that up. But this is a move that you wouldn't expect polls to make, and so maybe that's a sign of something. Tides are changing, so I like it. Will it pan out? We don't know, but just the fact that he took, the risk, I kind of like that. Appreciate the question, though. Then we got Justin here with @JustWint on Twitter, said, Gardner-Johnson here to play nickel. This one was interesting because I actually don't know. Right? If Tyreek Stevenson comes back, I'm assuming this is going to be your nickel or your big nickel, right? But if Tyreek Stevenson isn't back, is this going to be corner? Probably not your outside corner, because he normally plays slot or safety. So if you're a betting man, I'd probably say he's either going to play slot or he's going to play your big nickel for your big nickel formations, your packages, and things like that.
Sure.
But we really don't know, because he's been very versatile. Yeah. He can play so many different places.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have a designated spot. Especially with how this defense has been, everyone's kind of been going in and out. I think it's going to be, he should be kind of like a Swiss Army knife. Hopefully, that's the goal. And he's always kind of been like, you went over his percentages at several different positions on the defense, and so I think that's why the Bears probably like this as well, to be able to have that versatility along with that playmaking ability. They probably like that, and we'll see. Hopefully, it pays off. So. It's a good question.
I probably assume that maybe in the first game he doesn't move around as much, because he has to know the defense and whatnot. But I assume by the end of the season he's, like you said, Dave, probably all over the place, and that's great. That is great, because having a player like that is very dynamic, and it also can make you do a lot of things on defense that will confuse the quarterback, and that's what we're here for. So great question, just win. Let's go to the next one here. We got Benny Hammond at the real Benny Hanna on Twitter, said, any wide receivers getting jammed at the line often that might be throwing off the timing of routes and reads? I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm watching film, I haven't been really paying attention too much of being jammed at the line. Rome is a big body wide receiver, so he's probably not getting jammed at the line that much. And DJ Moore is pretty quick off the line, so I'd probably say no. I think the timing is more of like the new offense that they're trying to get implemented.
I will say this, watching Rome, they are very, I mean, just let's go to last week. Let's stick with the last week with the Ravens. They're very aggressive, very physical with Rome.
Yeah.
A lot of hands, slapping, a lot of tugging, just doing whatever they can to get, that they can get away with. But I think Rome, for sure, they are very, very aggressive with him, really trying to make him uncomfortable. I don't think they jam DJ because he can burn you. He's quick. Same with Rome. Rome he can make you pay. We've seen it where he's thrown up the mailbacks a couple of times. So I don't think you really want to do that. And I don't know if we've played a true shutdown corner yet. That you can think of, like a true, like a Sauce or a PS2, so. Right? No. Patrick, we haven't really, or like even a Jalen Johnson. Have we had any corners that we've been like?
Vikings, no. Detroit, no. Cowboys, hell no. Ravens, no.
Hamilton.
Yeah, but he's more of like a safety and a big nickel.
But he's kind of crazy too. He's like he's awesome.
Good.
Man.
Yo,
I would say Hamilton's one of the best that we've played against as far as a DB and they're like a safety.
They did a crazy stunt. Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith, they did a cross blitz, and basically Kyle Hamilton comes in late, freaking hits Joe Tooney off while he's holding up Roquan, and Roquan's just able to slip by. It was like, as a defensive coordinator, chef kiss, right? And it caused, I think it was that intention.
Back was pretty big.
Fuck this.
Also, yeah, Roquan's awesome, man. He's such a good player.
Sucks.
And if I could take one defensive player though, it would be probably Hamilton. Probably for sure. Without a doubt. He's unbelievable.
So for the speed he has and his size, he's like 6'4". Like, dude's crazy. These NFL athletes are wild. But okay, appreciate the question there. Let's see, is it? We got to do this one. Sorry, and the last one here we have is from It's Lito, which is at Lito on Twitter, said, why isn't Caleb hitting his one-on-one fade and go routes? To be fair, those are the hardest throws to make, and there hasn't been that many go routes this year. Like go routes? I haven't seen that many like one-on-one go routes. Now, you had that one that was to Devin Duvernay, but that's also your wide receiver 5. So I'm assuming the timing was off. And that wasn't a bad ball. He threw it right in the corner of the end zone. It was just a little bit past Devin Duvernay. But I don't know if he actually last year, remember a couple of Rome's 4th down catches? Those were like one-on-one go routes. So I think Caleb can hit those. And also Caleb has been pretty accurate. I think he's top. He might be the number 1 accurate passer on deep balls this year. No. He's top 3 because number 1's Drake May. Drake May's been going crazy. But I don't think that's been that much of an issue this year. It's been more of the easy stuff, the short to intermediate that Caleb's been missing on. So
yeah, I pulled up his deep ball real quick. Let's see here. So in 2025, he is 11 for 31. That's 35.5% on passes 20 yards or more. So he is, again, 11 for 31. That's 35.5%. He has 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has 9, of course, big time throws, 2 turnover worthy throws. Let's see here. It's pretty interesting. I mean, those are pretty good numbers.
For a deep ball, 20-yard throws are not easy to complete.
Exactly.
I think the problem's been the stuff in front. That's why people have been upset, is the inaccuracy from a 5-yard out. You know what I mean? Inaccuracy on a short crosser, so things like that. That we're hoping he'll improve on.
I'm going to do a minimum of 20. I want to see exactly where he ranks, Caleb.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see.
So accuracy, he's 35. His 35.15 or 35.5% is 26 in the NFL.
From a completion standpoint, I saw something,
but he's 10th.
Talking about,
but he's tied for 10th on completion. So 11 for He has 11. That's tied for 10th most.
Okay,
he just
so
has.
that means
He just has.
He's
he
throwing
has
more of them.
The 9th most attempts, though.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, which is high up there. But if just in his grade from PFF, he's 16th NFL with 80.4 on 20 yards on passes 20 or more yards. So,
so I don't think that's the biggest concern for his game.
Tied for 8th with touchdowns. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's a lot better than it was last year. We'll just leave it at that.
Correct.
We'll see how it continues to hopefully improve.
Correct. We got 10 games left, so hopefully you can see some of these numbers just overall.
But let me say this, back to the jump ball. I want to see more of those, especially in the red zone. Rome, go get it and a fade. Like, just go make a contested catch. We saw when Theo had that terrible penalty called against him.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was one-on-one. Essentially, he threw the ball up. Great ball placement, but a better play. Rome made Caleb look really good, and of course that got taken away. But I want to see more of those opportunities because I think there's a lot of playmakers that can do and come down with a ball like that. So,
or any positive play in the red zone, right?
Like give me 2, 3 a game, 4 maybe.
Give me like anything at this point, man. It has been tough. Okay, we're gonna get to our final ad read here, and then we're gonna do our shout outs. We'll go through some final questions that you guys have posted in the chat. We'll do a rapid fire with that. And then we also give a shout out to our Discord and our Pick'em League winners as well. All right, before we close out the show, I got to tell you about some awesome stuff that we have cooked up on the BFRstore.com. As you can see here, we have hats, hoodies, mugs, stickers, a whole bunch of fire stuff, and we're always working on new creative designs, maybe jerseys coming. Yeah, who knows? But you can check it all out at thebfrstore.com. All the proceeds from the merch store just goes back right into the show. And plus, we want to give you fire stuff because we want to look fly all the time. And we want y'all to look fly as well. So if you want to support the BFR show, go to thebfrstore.com. We appreciate all the love and support. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. We do appreciate all the love and the support. So shout out to all of y'all in any way that you support us. We really do appreciate it. The show would be nothing without y'all because this show is all about the fans. Dave and I are fans like y'all. The number one show for the fans, by the fans. Even though we support the team, we go through the ups and downs just like y'all. So we're trying to build a community that puts you guys first. And like we said, this is the Bears Film Room Podcast, the number one show for the fans, by the fans. So we're always going to make sure that we give you guys the love that you deserve. So we really do appreciate it. And all the growth that you guys have helped us. I mean, we gained 5,000 subscribers in just 6 months thanks to y'all. Like, that is crazy. We wouldn't have any of this success without y'all showing up on a Wednesday pod, on a Saturday morning pod, on a post-game pod after a brutal loss. Like, we just want to give hats off to y'all. So we really do appreciate it. Okay. Let's see here. I do want to do some shouts here for like favorite players. I did ask. We had Urlacher here from J-Dog. Oh, that's awesome. You're at the University of New Mexico as well. That's definitely where he's from. That's dope. Awesome. Love that. I just want to see here. Said Tony said, what's up? So what's up? Kyler said favorite Bears player, Justin Fields. There's still a lot of them out there. I mean, Justin Fields 2023, that season was amazing for what he did, at least from the joy of a Bears fan. A lot of fun. Yes, it was. It was a lot of fun. Not a lot of wins, but a lot of fun. And then Kyler also said favorite player, Bears player right now is DJ Moore. You don't get many of those, but I like that. That. Let's see. Okay, cool. Oh, and there's a question. There's a comment here from Rogue. Roquan isn't 6'4". We weren't talking about Roquan, Rogue. We were talking about Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton is either 6'3" or 6'4". I'm pretty sure. He's pretty big. Yeah, Roquan's like my size. I've actually met him in person. He's probably
Roquan's like 6'1". That's what it says.
Yep. Okay, cool. Let's get through some of the rapid fire questions here.
Sure.
Let's see here. Okay, so Gage said, did you guys get my angry voicemail? We did. We played on last show. Appreciate you sending that in. We got Jay Young here. Said, any chance Poles makes a move before the trade deadline? If so, what position? I'll be quick. Yes, it's possible. I'd probably say 35%, and it'd be probably something on the defensive line. Dave, what's your thoughts?
Depends if we win next 2 games, or at least next one, Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's fair. Kyler had a question talking about CJ Gardner-Johnson. Will he be ready in time for the Bengals game? Dave talked about it. Yes, he will. He said that in the presser today. Laking Ball on YouTube said, have you guys addressed Caleb asked about Drake? being asked about Drake May. I think that was in today's presser, right?
Yeah. Terrible question.
Horrible question. Yeah.
Do better.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I hate those dumb questions.
Williams handled it very well. I want to give him this credit.
I like questions that like make me learn more either about the player or about the game of football. And that did neither of those. So just like, what the heck is that's like a Twitter comment. Come on. Okay. Eduardo Garcia on YouTube said, do you think if Carolina trade didn't happen, Ryan would be out of Chicago? Well, we wouldn't have Caleb Williams. So probably, right? Because getting a new quarterback will buy you time. So probably. I don't know about you, Dad. It's kind of hard because there's a lot of hypotheticals. Ben Johnson's probably not here. So I'd probably say, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's a loaded one?
Probably.
Okay. Okay. I thought you were talking about Ben. Would Ben be in Chicago?
No. Ryan, if Poles didn't make that trade, probably you'd be stuck with Field.
I think him landing Ben Johnson saved him. So
for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of things that trade domino.
Yeah, that trade
a bunch.
Yeah. I don't think, if we don't make that trade, I don't think I believe you're probably correct. Ryan probably isn't here. They're probably resetting everything. And I don't even know if Ben's here because Caleb.
We don't even know who our quarterback. Yeah, exactly. It's a good point. You don't even know who our quarterback is at that point. Yeah, that's. I try not to think about that. Laking Ball said, "How has Drake looked better than Caleb with less talent?" I wouldn't necessarily say that's true. Patriots offensive line is pretty good. Boutte
Drake's look better though.
No, 100%. But I'd say the talent he's got. Putting this way, Drake has looked 10 times better than Caleb, no question. But don't look at the Patriots and think they don't have talent on that offensive side of the ball. They definitely do.
And coaching. Vedral. Yeah. Give him credit where I don't want to compare things, but
no, he's doing his thing, but I don't want to take away from like he's got talent over there. You have to. You can't perform that well without talent. It just doesn't work that way. But great question though. Yeah, Drake's been going nuclear. It's just wild. Eduardo here said, do you think if the Bears don't go quarterback again, Ryan will be more aggressive in trading? Oh, sorry. Do you think if the Bears don't get to the quarterback again, Ryan will be more aggressive in trading? Well, I think Dave said it. We kind of gave our parts on this. If they win, I think they'll be a little bit more aggressive, and I kind of agree with that. Okay, cool.
That's how I feel.
Yep. Okay, now let's get through some of these OGs in here. And then Rogue said, my bad to your comment. It's all good, bro. We just wanted to clarify so you understood what we're talking about. We got Gage in here with the hashtag OG. Can't wait for the Zoom call this weekend. Absolutely. We love those. Can't wait to see you there. Kyler Villagomez says, hashtag OG. Welcome, CJ. I'm glad we got some cornerback help. We're right there with you, Kyler, because we needed it. We got Isaac Everett 9800 on YouTube with the hashtag OG. Hashtag OG for you, Isaac. Appreciate you for joining the show. Appreciate it as always. And then we got the final one here. My Claw 76 with a hashtag OG. Poles would never even think about making this move. Ben and DA are building their team. Look, it could be that. I'm sure Poles still has to make the final decision. He is the GM, but I'm sure he's getting influence from people that he might have trusted more than he trusted with the last regime. Okay, awesome. Let's finish it up here with our shout outs as always. And we got to start off with our Grizzly members who be holding down the den. Shout out to Michael from across the pond. Gage, who's in the chat as well. Philip, we got Michael Berry as well. Angie in the building. Daniel Jones, Thomas Whitty, who sent in a question. Appreciate that. Tito, and then we got Dave as well. Shout out to our Hall of Fame Grizzly members. You guys are fucking fantastic. We love it. We can't wait to talk to you guys all this weekend. And then also we got to give a shout out to our rookie Grizzlies. And we have a new rookie Grizzly. Another lady joins the Patreon crew. That's right. Angie, you are no longer alone. We got Megan McCallie in here. Shout out to you. But we also have Alex Hamilton, Chris Ford, Ethan. We got Caleb and Jason. So Patreon group keeps growing. We'd love to see that. We love the diversity in here as well. So we appreciate all
Thank you guys.
Yeah, everybody. You guys are fucking fantastic. And we're always working to bring you more and more value. So, and one way we've been doing that this year is through, if you join a Patreon, we do have a contest going on for our Pick'em League. So I got to give a shout out to the winner of this month. Gage won this month. So shout out to you for the month of October. And then obviously, as you guys know, at the end of the year, you guys are going to win a big gift for the total, season long winner. So that's going to be awesome. And then also we give a shout out to this week's weekly prediction winner, Sweetness 34, which is Daniel Jones, also a Patreon member. Shout out to you. And then also I got to give a shout out to him because he won the gift card, and he actually said give it to the second place user just as a nice little a gift. And I was like, you know what? Awesome. So the second place winner from the winner of the week will actually be getting the free gift card. So that was very nice of him. But we appreciate all of you in there. If you want to join either of those contests, join the Patreon, then you'll have the ability to join the Pick'em League. And then if you don't want to join the Patreon, okay, totally understand. But you can join the Discord, which is absolutely free, and you can literally give your score predictions weekly in there. So that one's just fun and free. And look, you can win free gift cards for the BFR merch store. So you win free money to look fly. Come on, it's a win-win for everybody. So we appreciate all of you guys in the Discord, all of you in the Patreon. If you haven't joined either and you'd want to, the links will be in the description, also in our bios. And we appreciate all the love and support for the number one show for the fans, by the fans, Bears Film Room. Dave, any final thoughts?
Nothing. Speechless. No, I'm super stoked for Saturday. We got a lot going on. We got our morning pod, our Patreon call, and of course we get Sunday the Bears play, and of course we have the instant reaction pod. So again, can't believe we're over 10,000 subs. So I'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you for the support. We'll be back Saturday, and thank you everyone that tuned in for this midweek pod. Hope you enjoy it. There'll be a lot more of these midweek pods coming. So bear down, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.